Bayonets are the strongest weapon type in Code Vein 2, so in this video I'll be showing you the top 5 best bayonets, where to get them, and some honorable mentions. Now, the great thing about bayonets is they have insane mobility, letting you get away from enemies really quickly. Now the thing is, they also have different ammunition types, so some of them will shoot a beam-like attack like this, while others shoot things like grenades or shotgun shells. So I'll be breaking down all the best choices here. There's one that just stands above all others, but others are like this one here are quite fun. And there are 17 different bayonets here, with some of them, again, having like shotgun shells, like the silver shot here, some of them having grenades, like the grenade launcher, or Burning Desire, which you saw at the start of the video. Others having like beam attacks, like the Alfheim, which you get when you meet Holly, and then the Snowdrop, which is a late game version with the icier version. There's some like the Argent Wolf bayonet, or the Ancient Hunter's bayonet, which is shoot normal rifle rounds. The Resurgent Flame bayonet has a fiery blast. My absolute favorite, however, is the Raider bayonet. It has a large magazine size, it fires quickly, and it lets you shoot a ton of them. The other thing is, it shoots out a pellet that flies out and then tracks onto the enemy, so you're not missing with this gun. First honorable mention I want to mention is the Rubelite Piercer here. Now this one, the unfortunate part is it's mind and dexterity scaling, which isn't the best with the blood codes we have available. Holly's blood code is actually a very good one here, and I'm going to show you guys why. But the big problem that I have with it is it has a charge beam there, and it doesn't do any more damage than any of the other beam attacks. So, well, it's a decent bayonet in total. It's there's so many crazy ones on this list. Same thing with like the Lost Bayonet, the Black Bayonet, and the Sunset Bayonet. All of these have like the rifle style bullets to them, which is nice, but I just find that the scaling on them isn't as good as the others on this list. With the Black Bayonet having S+ scaling and dexterity, and Lost Bayonet having high dexterity scaling as well, these two weapons can go very well if you're running a dex build. Now for our 5th place weapon, we have a shotgun. It's the only shotgun on the list, but it's one we can get early, and it stays strong throughout the entire game with B+ scaling in its strength and dexterity here. What I like most about this weapon is when using a blood code like Jose's, it has a pretty reliable amount of damage, and it has great stats. Now, the thing is, the shotguns are only going to be most effective at a closer range there, so they do a lot of actual stagger damage. That's one of the nicest things about them, is you can actually chain this in with your attack combos here. Dodge back, you do have a slow dodge there, but you can just blast away like that. It only has 4 shells in there, but it's honestly a pretty solid weapon, especially for how early you get it. I also really like the quick movements, the move set when you do a quick attack here, because it has that lunging forward attack, meaning you got good range if you need to do like a jump back and then jump into your attack there. And it comes stock with the trigger rush ability here, which lets you jump right into an enemy, which you can do some fun combo stuff with it, especially if the enemy is a very mobile one. You can follow it up with a blast like that, so if you do your attack, boom, just continually keep spamming away with that. It can be kind of silly if you got the Ichor for it. Now, who benefits from this is probably people that enjoy like the more like fast-paced gameplay here. You can just blast away like that, getting in close. It does have a powerful attack, but you gotta be mindful of how open you're going to be when all the other bayonets are better at a longer range. So this is one that I think is very strong, but you're likely going to replace this once you find how good the other ones are. I want to include one shotgun version on this list, and the nice thing is you can actually get this right at the start of the game on Magmel Island. You're just going to come straight down here, and the Jadwiga minions right here will sell it. Now, next up in 4th place, I'm actually going to put 2 weapons here because they are very much the same. Just depends what you want to run for your build. So if you prefer using Mind, the Argent Wolf bayonet. If you played the previous Code game, you'll know this type of weapon. Now, the Ancient Hunter's bayonet is my personal preference, as this one will scale off of our willpower, meaning you use Holly's blood code, which is one of the best in this game. Despite not having the highest scaling, the best part about this is its low stat requirements, giving you this quick dodge, and it's a reliable weapon. It has a 5-round magazine, you can just fire away there. It does actually pretty solid damage. The nice thing is you don't have a long charge up with this attack. It also comes with the drawback shot naturally on it, which I think is one of the best abilities in this game, because you can just kind of spam this. It activates Blade Dancer, which gives you insane damage scaling on your weapon. It also comes with Overdrive, like 2 of the best in the game. The Ancient Hunter weapons were honestly very solid throughout the entire game. It also has a pretty good moveset there with like the triple stab attack, so great for closing a distance. You can jump in, do your attacks, get your Ichor back with your bat there, and then use drawback shot to get away. Very solid in the early game. Now with the Argent Wolf bayonet, this one is more so focused on our mind stat. However, it does come also with the drawback shot, but blood-sucking blades here. I do prefer having adrenaline because the damage buff from that is much better, but still, this is a good one, especially if you want to use a mind build, because there's certain buffs that can apply from mind, like the Bridge to Glory. Despite not being as good as it is in Code Vein 1, it's still a nice ability. And this one is very much the same. It's just, again, if you prefer using a a different type of build with mind versus the willpower, this would be the way to go. Although I just found that willpower is one of the best and easiest to get in a game. They both have the same drawback shot, which is very nice. But the Argent Wolf has a bit of a different attack style. Its attacks come out just like that there, versus the more stabby and forward focus of the last one. So again, here's the Argent Wolf. You do a couple stabs and slashes, and then a final stab there. And here's the Ancient Hunter Bayonet. So you do those more so stabbing attacks, and you do that final like sweep backwards, which is nice because you can sometimes hit the more large bosses in this game because it's just a little bit of a more large hitbox for the weapon. And to get the Ancient Hunter's Bayonet, it's honestly so funny how close this is. You're just going to come outside Magmel, and it's right here. There's a little cornfield. There's going to be a little circle, and you just grab it straight from there. And then to get the Argent Wolf, we're actually just going to come over here. You have to make it over to the mainland here. And Jadwiga's minion right here is going to sell the Argent Wolf Bayonet. So you can get both of them relatively early on, making them a really good weapon throughout most of the game. I prefer it over the Silver Shot. And I mean, it's pretty early too. Now in third place, I have two of them again here. Just depends again on your build because they work so similarly. The Grenade Launcher, which has, you can put an element on it to get the willpower scaling, which I personally like, but this is going to be scaling off strength and dexterity. And the Burning Disaster here, which is scaling off our strength and mind stat with a bit of extra fire damage. Now the thing is, these both have one of the most powerful abilities with their just regular grenade fire there. It does 3,500 damage on this here. Pretty crazy. The other thing about this is it can also get benefited from the Blade Dancer. So with both of these here, you can see the damage potential is pretty nuts. This one also does 3,500 damage at the current stats that I have here. So pretty powerful blast. That one does a little extra fire. Now I'm going to show you guys one of the most powerful combinations here. We're going to use Blade Dancer, which every time we hit an enemy, we get more damage and more damage. And Heavenly Strike here, which is a multi-hit attack. This can mean after a couple of those, we go ahead, that 3,500 becomes 5,000. You can actually get this stacking up even further just by using your multi-hit attacks here and then going ahead and blasting away for 6,000 damage. Not sure what's happening with the debug stuff going on there, but yeah, you can just blast away and hit for 6,000 damage, so almost doubling the amount of damage you can do. What's nice is the Burning Disaster also has Flame Weapon built in on it, so you can just start blasting away with your abilities here, get that fire damage. I personally like to put a Toxin on it because you can stack up the statuses really quickly that way. And you see there with two of them that did 13,000 damage. Pretty insane for just a grenade launcher like this. So yeah, the damage from these is pretty nuts. That's why I think the grenade launcher ends up, yeah, 7,000. You see it there. And to get the grenade launcher, you actually have to come all the way up to the top of the map, but honestly, it's worth it. So you're just going to come up to that Jadwiga minion there. Doing the Lyle quest is the preferred way of getting to that area, but definitely recommend running up there to grab it. And the Burning Disaster, you have to get enough coins to be able to be a gold member at Jadwiga's shop, so you have to go find her inside of Magmel. She's up at one of the top floors. Go talk to her. You'll be picking up her coins throughout the game, and you're going to exchange them to be able to purchase it. In second place, this is actually another one where I'm going to feature two because they're very similar. Alfheim, which you can actually get from right outside when you find Holly in the sanatorium in her previous timeline. And late game, once you max out her affinity, you can get Snowdrop, which is a better version with an S+ scaling in willpower, D+ in dexterity, whereas the Alfheim has B+ scaling in our willpower and C+ in dexterity. I gotta admit, Snowdrop does get pretty insane, but I'm gonna show off both of these. You'll have noticed that Holly always has this weapon out. Alfheim's just a slightly different version of it here, so this is what Alfheim looks like. Has a cold beam there, doing around 2,000 damage per blast there. You get 5 blasts, and then there's 3 full magazines there. So you actually get a lot extra ammunition with these weapons, which is really nice. And then here's the Snowdrop here. It does have a little bit of a slower firing rate. This one has higher damage, you can see there. It doesn't fire as fast as my favorite weapon in the game, but you can see here, pretty stellar damage. The thing is, this moveset you get from Holly's weapon, especially the Snowdrop here, this you can get from her as well and put it on the Alpine if you wanted it, but honestly, hilarious. My typical movement is going with the Blade Dancer, however, and like a Venom buff of some sort. While this does pretty stellar damage, it's 6 Ichor points, and you have a long casting time, where I'd honestly probably prefer to use something different. It also comes with a bunch of other ice attacks, which are okay. Like the Frost wave there is nice. This one here creates this area of effect. Don't recommend really using this too often. The damage from this is insane. I would actually remove all of the skills, and I'll show you what skills are best to use in a moment. But the Alpheine's kind of in the same boat here. They're both very powerful. They got ice-based attacks here, so they're pretty strong, and they are good throughout the entire game. Just not as good as the final one that I'll be covering here, but The fact it's almost impossible to miss the Alfheim here, and it's got pretty solid damage overall. And then the Snowdrop just being the highest scaling and the highest damage you can get on a weapon makes it really good. It's just not our absolute true best. The nice thing is Snowdrop you can actually get a quick dodge with if you got Holly's Blood Code and you use a few different boosters. So very powerful. You want to keep that quick dodge, especially on a bayonet. Now our first place, and I will cover the best skills to go with this as well, the Raider Bayonet. This thing is insane. So with this, now you can get this weapon really early on after you beat Franz. That's one of the crazy parts about it. It also does blood damage. It's got B+ in willpower, A+ in dexterity. It does pretty solid damage. It's not going to be as high as things like the Snowdrop, which is the highest scaling possible for a damaged weapon like this. But the thing is, it's got an amazing attack. It has 8 rounds in its magazine here, so you're going to be shooting this often. It shoots fast. It tracks onto enemies. It's absurd. And you can see there, like, pretty decent damage. So a single shot there, 1696. So we go ahead, we apply our Blade Dancer, we got our other damage buff, we use our Heavenly Strike here to get this boosted up a little bit, and then we can also use the drawback shot if we need a little extra mobility. And then what we're gonna do is, wow, it happened again. We're gonna go ahead and fire away at him, 4,000 damage on that, so pretty insane. You can see the damage from that is just nuts, so very powerful. And this is really great for applying Venom, but yeah, you see there 4,000 damage per shot, and you can just chain fire these like crazy with Blade Dancer on. The damage from this is nuts. Just basically fire clear out a Vicar, and then you can blast it with Heavenly Strike and use a drawback shot to get away. You're going to be able to cheese every single boss in this game pretty easily. And again, you'll get this weapon really early on. You just have to beat Franz, one of the very first bosses in the game. And you come to Mag Mel, and it's literally to the left-hand side. It's like right up here from where I'm at. Coming in the entrance of Mag Mel, you just run straight over here and you can purchase it right there. And here are my preferred skills on any bayonet because we have multi-hit attacks, making Blade Dancer insane because temporarily increase your attack power every time that you damage an enemy with your weapon. This counts on Heavenly Strike, which is a multi-hit attack, and Drawback Shot, which fires 3 times. It also works on Fusillade Rondo, which is another one I like, but I prefer Drawback Shot because it gives you a bit of extra mobility, whereas the if you're using the Fusillade Rondo here, it has the same Ichor cost, but you stay stationary. You do get an additional shot if you want to, but I do think it's much better to use the Drawback Shot since we're so limited because we do want our Blade Dance and Ranged Impact. This is going to increase our range attacks for bayonets. This is a pretty solid damage boost. We want to have this active at all times alongside our Blade Dance if possible. Just due to most of our attacks by nature having multi-hit attacks, it greatly scales up our damage, pretty much doubling what we're going to be doing, meaning bosses go down twice as fast. And again, don't forget you can apply Venom on your weapon using an item. And you see there with one Heavenly Strike, we got it applied on this enemy here. Most enemies, it only takes a few shots, and then you can also just apply it by blasting like this. So I honestly think this is the most broken weapon in the entire game. Just due to how much mobility you can get a quick dodge with this weapon off, and you got so much damage without even having to get close to the enemy. It also has a really good moveset. I like that attack that it does. I didn't even mention that, but yeah, this is the best weapon in Code Vein 2 in my opinion. It's super overpowered. Well, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Hit the subscribe button if you enjoyed, and I hope you guys all have a great day.